Good evening, kindred and kind. Uh, I'm here with another dev diary. Sorry for the pause last week as I was under the weather, and well, now we're all back and good to go. We're starting off with the 18th dev diary, building our Seattle. All right, so this is actually talking about some of uh, the previous dev diary items as well from dev diary 8. We do have a video of that up as well. I believe it's the second dev diary that I have, the dev diary video. So if you want to check that out, it's in the channel as well. If you like this video or you like the dev diary series itself, please don't hesitate, like, share, subscribe, and we'll just get right into it. So in this diary, we want to give you further insight into the choices we've made when building our version of Seattle, which is where the big statements in the first dev diary number 8 came from. And then Seattle is at the heart of the game, which you'll return to again and again between quests or sometimes during them. It is the most human location in the game where you are vulnerable to being exposed as a vampire, breaching the masquerade, which is resulting in a swift and violent justice from the vampires of the Camarilla that rule the city. It is also a kind of vampire playground where you can feed on humans in order to restore your vampiric powers or just for the thrill of the hunt. We hope this diary gives you a taste of what you will experience when stalking the streets and rooftops of the Emerald City. And that is from the project creative director Alex Skidmore. So, just looking directly at the first screenshot itself, it looks like it'll be the front of the building for Elysium, which it just looks amazing to me. This type of like entrance into most buildings is really really nice, and it's simplistic at best. It's just simplistic, so there's not much really happening, and you're able to just focus on the beauty of it. So we're going to be building the player's movements through Seattle. We really wanted to create traversal that interacted with the masquerade and reinforce the vampiric experience. Fire has some absurd movement from the get-go, being able to be immensely fast, dash, and glide through the air, as well as moving faster while still using discipline abilities later. But of course, do any of this on the streets without obfuscation, and you'll quickly find yourself breaching the masquerade. With just them saying that, like being able to move faster while using disciplines, that to me is it shows that they're already that they've thought about just leveling up and making everything a little bit cooler, at least for mid to late game. So I find that pretty cool. Atrium, if I remember correctly, in the previous dev diaries, we had the um, Toreador Primogen, that they were the owner of this club. Isabella, yes. So we have a couple different locations, including some coffee shops, um, the Weaver Tower, the Atrium, and then, if I remember correctly, it's kind of like an inn wherever Lou is. Well, I don't know if we'll see it later or not. Dark alleyways don't just give you a quieter place to feed on prey, they also provide routes up to Seattle's rooftops. Up here, there are fewer prying eyes, so you can really let your capabilities loose. Moving faster and leaping between buildings, the local anarchs won't be thrilled about you moving through their rooftop turf, though. So it is a dangerous place for the weak or uninitiated. This means there's a choice to be made at any point between danger to the masquerade and danger to yourself. Finding yourself drawn to the kinds of places vampires would lurk is the goal of the arrangement. As you regain your powers as an elder, you'll also be more capable of moving as you please. I'm really looking forward to seeing people master it. So movement wise, I'm I want to see what we can do movement wise, because if we can actually make it go crazy, um that'd be pretty cool. And um in my personal opinion, this may not be a game you can speed run well, but me myself, I'm a fan of speed running different games, and if this one actually is possible, I may try to speed run it myself and see what can be done with it, because this looks really really sick. It looks really cool. Um, so I'm all for being very supernatural with it. And then since joining Bloodlines 2 team, a key responsibility that the senior game designer Max Bottomley has undertaken is bringing life to key areas of the game. There's Seattle, the Glacier. So it's a hotel. Yes, it's not an I said an inn. It's not the same, but um, the Glacier would be where Lou is, if I'm remembering correctly. Yes. So you have a multitude of places that you can go check, which is pretty cool. It's awesome. Um, to be able to go around and actually talk to specific people, and actually have a spider's web of your own, going back and forth and doing different things like that. Working closely with the environment team, I wanted to make sure that as players explore the world, it feels both alive and reactive to what they're doing. Players will discover a wide variety of people going about their daily or nightly lives. We've crafted a personality for the city that complements its unique setting, mood, and layout. Time has been taken to map out the city districts that favor different types of NPCs. You'll be able to sit back and watch the world move on around you. So that's pretty sick. If you're able to just sit in in a corner and actually like see just different things happening, that'd be pretty cool. Um, a lot of games say that, and I hope it's not just a small array of voice lines over the same NPCs over and over again. So uh, I hope it is. I hope it is roughly the same as they're saying, but I understand capabilities and limitations that would be placed on everything that that entails. So when you walk around a corner, you never know what you'll find. Maybe it's a businessman arguing on his phone, or a graffiti artist simply improving local artwork. It could be a car thief struggling to break into a car, or even a sex worker making good on their promise with a client. So, if all that's true, I hope that it's not limited. And all of those things are a possibility. So we've been filling the world with characters that actually do things, taking breaks on seats, telling police about crimes they've seen, or seeing the police chase down a criminal. The world turns without you. It should feel like you're just passing through, and as a player, you can interact and just sit back and watch. Working on this stuff and building out a believable world where bikers drink outside bars or start fights with you has been a hell of a lot of work, but I hope people will find it a fun place to explore. The city isn't all combat, it's also home to exploration and interactions with the inhabitants of Seattle. So, this is the Wake the Dead Cafe. Sophia. I believe Sophia is the Tremere researcher that was inside that was in the trailer, which is pretty cool. I believe it's a coffee shop bookstore. And then, as with many other areas of the game, a large part of what we wanted to give the players was choice. Some of that choice comes down to what conversations you'll have with some of the NPCs and characters you'll meet in the city. Using your vampiric charms to seduce someone, proposition a sex worker, or flip off some angry bikers with a Bruja approved hand gesture. The first time you try to flirt with a sex worker in the game and get turned down because your choice of clothing didn't impress them will be an eye opener. So you could lock yourself out of things just by being the wrong clan and having the wrong clothing. Unless there's just different clothing that you're able to unlock. Um, but from what I remembered in previous one, each clan got specified clothing. So I don't know how the clothing will work if it's specific clothing per clan or if it's just oh there's a like an there's an in-game store that takes like not boons but like a different type of currency for clothing like if you finish a quest. Seattle plays a big part in our game in both setting and the tone, and providing an exciting and alluring space for players to explore and discover. Whether it's vibrant, ethereal world of Nick Miller's photography or the majesty of a real world American metropolis like Seattle, it's been really important for us to capture these moments and inject it uniquely into our take on a city inside the world of darkness. And then this is just a construction site inside the actual game. It could be a mission site. Could be. One of the ways we've done this is to focus on making Seattle feel exaggerated, seen through the heightened reality of a 300-year-old elder, exaggerating building heights to make most untraversable. Our phrase tree trunking has helped to do this both visually and viscerally. Unlike a superhero gliding over a city, we're creating a world that forces you to be part of it, running through alleyways or gliding across rooftops. You're never above it or beneath, but really part of it. You can't beat the feeling of stalking on a victim alone on a ledge or building a precipice with a whole towering city above you. All right, and then, hey, fellow kindred. I'm super stoked to give you a sneak peek of the Seattle you'll be sinking your fangs into in Bloodlines 2. We'll be bringing that gritty, atmospheric, and immersive vibe that made the original Bloodlines such a cult classic into our version of Seattle, making sure every alleyway, rooftop, and hidden corner feels like it belongs into the world of darkness. You'll be stalking through Pioneer Square, looking around downtown, and exploring our take on Chinatown, all wrapped in a snowy, seedy nighttime setting that bleeds neo-noir. Shaping parts of Seattle to fit our setting has been one of the coolest parts of making this while working on the latest tech. Our favorite bits have definitely been creating those hidden details, cryptic setups, narrative clues with deeper meanings, just waiting for you to uncover it. And then this is the Dutchman. So you're able to meet Silky. I don't think I've seen the name. If I have, I just don't remember it. But this seems to be where either the Anarchs would be, or yeah, where the Anarchs would be, or where Camarilla Bruja would be. So each district has its own distinct vibe, whether it's cold, corporate chill of the financial sector, or the vibrant pulse of Chinatown. We're using lighting and color to set the mood to make each area feel unique and immersive. We've been using a hybrid workflow to bring this city to life, combining Houdini for our building structures with modular kits for shop fronts, alleyways, alley walls, and rooftop dressings. But what really gets us excited is the storytelling dioramas which we've crafted into each block. Whether it's a hint of a backstory, a touch of conflict, or just a nod to something darker beneath the surface, we've worked hard to make every corner feel like it has a story to tell. And this lets us give each block its own flavor while weaving them all into a larger narrative tapestry that not only looks great, but feels alive and full of stories, all while being optimized for performance, which I hope that's still the case. I don't want the game to be huge, because if the game is huge, then it's a lot. And I would rather the game be good, um, the game be good, run well, than just have a pretty game and not be able to like stream the game whenever it does come out. Hopefully, still this year. But that is the end of this one. We're going to be heading over to Dev Diary 19, hunting and feeding. So, welcome, Kindred, to the Bloodlines 2 Dev Diary from the team of the Chinese Room. Tonight's diary is about hunting and feeding, both in combat scenarios and in more social setting of Seattle, where feeding is at the heart of the game loop and fantasy of being a vampire. So if you're faint at the sight of blood, read no further. So, feeding is a really important part of the vampire fantasy, and so from a gameplay perspective, we were set on making it a fundamental part of the player's actions and strategies. You'll be doing a lot of it. Fire's a little and often kind of drinker that helps keep the beast in check. Plus, it's your main source of healing and critical to using your powerful discipline abilities. A lot of incentive for us to make it feel good. Your main concern will be your surroundings. Getting spotted feeding on the streets is a blatant masquerade violation, and more violent types won't be content to let you feed on their friends unscathed. So you'll want to isolate your targets. Feeding in the swing of combat is risky, but not impossible, and if you're mindful of which direction you start the feeding from, your victim can help soak up a lot of gunfire for you. One aspect that is really challenging was presentation. From a first-person perspective, feeding in first person doesn't really show much at best, and it looks silly at worst. But a simple cut in and out of third person can be disorienting and feel a bit disconnected. So what they've settled on is a bit of both, with some basic cinematic action cutting techniques to maintain a continuity of motion, and enough first-person action at the end to get you settled into your next move. It's subtle, but I think it goes a long way in helping the flow of the game in hectic situations. Which, that would be nice. If it goes from our first-person view when we first bite into a third-person view where we're able to actually maneuver around, if we're able to maneuver around while we feed, that would help in combat situations. But overall, I kind of agree with it that feeding in first person it just feels weird. Seeing it and playing it, it feels a little weird. So as a vampire, Fire has access to senses that are much more powerful than that of a human. Whilst exploring Seattle, Fire will be able to tap into these heightened senses, enhancing her ability to smell, see, hear the enemies. By concentrating on these senses, Fire will detect the beating hearts of nearby prey even through walls, allowing her to choose just the right strategy to pounce on them. When it comes to visualizing this, we wanted the concepts to reflect the vampiric nature of homing in on your next meal, sensing and smelling blood through the air. We wanted Fire to feel like a predator stalking her enemies, using all her vampiric gifts. To do this, we wanted to tap into into a striking art style for this part of the gameplay, something that highlighted Fire's vampiric lust for blood while also being very clear for the player's experience. Which, this is, if I remember correctly, it's also the same way they do it on Blood Hunt, where the different color coming off of the kine shows the different type of blood, whether it be like choleric or sanguine. Each color is defined as a specific type of blood, which, if that is the case, that's a good thing, and it should help some people understand what is meant by um, being able to feed on the correct person. It would help with that. And it should get to a point where you're not even needing to um, use your heightened senses to see who is what, and you should be able to just with the story building that they've actually done, figure out who has what. That would be a pretty cool way of actually doing it. All right, so as you can see from the concept art, once we tap into our heightened senses, we enter a visually different version of our core environment. One where enemies stand out brightly, their blood pumping. Fire can sniff out these potential dangers and then plan accordingly ahead of our plan. We wanted to visualize, we wanted the visual language of the enemies to really pop out from the drained background in this mode. Fire's hyper focusing on our prey, so we wanted enemies to burn brightly in the world, their blood shimmering even through walls. So this is cool. It's pretty cool. It just seems like heightened senses would be just the way to make sure that everything goes, or at least you're able to hear, see, and hear, see, and smell 100 times better. So once we get up close and personal, that's when we can feed. We wanted feeding to feel like an intimate experience between you and the victim. Biting someone's throat will always give you a sudden rush of power, and drinking blood is a way to restore your powers. By doing so, it will become an addictive experience for the player. So we wanted the action of feeding to reflect the visceral nature of stealing life from a beating heart, taking life from a host, and transferring it to the player. Above, we explored a few ways we could show this through the reaction of Fire's vision as blood enters her system. This level of exploration, creating many different ideas, iterations, is key when trying to find out if something could work for a feature like this. I would honestly say, like, it's not terrible. It's not terrible to think about it. It's just, it's just a little thing. It's just a little thing. Is this like heightened senses? Like heightened senses is the bottom one because you're able to actually see everything, and then the veins come out purple rather than red, and you can see the actual like veins going to the face. It's a little weird. It is, but it's not terrible. It is just concept art, so I don't know how it would look. So, not only is Seattle brought to life with people going about their own business, including NPCs reacting to the player, it's also a place where the player can hunt. As you move around the city, you'll be able to track and hunt NPCs that have potential in becoming fully resonated with a specific type of blood to feed on. You track these NPCs down using heightened senses and knowledge of the city, then use charm, fear, or anger to convince them to bend to your will. Very early on, we wanted these events to feel like something the player would want to go and investigate as they pop up around the city, and I'd like to refer to these events as vampire candy for players to track, follow, and feed on. Social feeding is a key part of the player's time in our Seattle and revolves around influencing NPCs in certain ways. Maybe you'll stumble upon someone angry at the ATM has stolen their card, and you can take that anger and feed on it. Maybe someone scared after missing the last bus home, and chasing them down a dark alley will tip them into terror and give you a social feed you're craving. It's been great working on a system where the NPCs display very raw emotions, letting the players really lean into the vampiric fantasy, allowing them to interact with the denizens of Seattle in a number of different ways. You can use abilities, conversations, or just plain terrify them, then reap the rewards with a careful feed. We wanted to give players a freedom to hunt the way they want, but it's also important that players need to be mindful of how and where they feed to avoid breaking the masquerade. Social feeding is a slow process, so it's best to lure victims into secluded areas. Explaining to animators that I want an animation of someone towering, like a shock actor from the 1950s horror movie, then watching those animations come to life is a chef's kiss. It's been really great to just sit and think. Wouldn't it be great if fire is approached by a mugger and threatened, only to have them turn in flame fear once they realize what fire is? I'm really looking forward to how the players choose to tackle, hunt, and feeding within the city area itself. And then that is that. So we're going past 19 into 20. Blood Resonance. So for Blood Resonance, welcome, Kindred, to this Bloodlines 2 Dev Diary from the team at the Chinese Room. Tonight, we want to talk to you about Blood Resonance feature. For those unfamiliar with the Vampire the Masquerade, this is the blood that is emotionally charged, a valuable commodity for an experienced elder vampire like Fire. Our vision of Fire as an elder is that they have accrued many clan abilities over their 400 years as a vampire, but the incident that brought them to Seattle has locked away their connection to them. By using resonant blood and drinking the blood of the clan contacts, you can restore Fire's connection to these abilities that aren't native to your chosen clan. For more these specific clan abilities, please read the previous clan highlights that they have for the Bruja, Tremere, Banu Hakim, and the Ventru. So determining what resonance a vessel has makes feeding more than just a pit stop. Most vampires observe their victim from a distance or engage them in conversation to feel them out. So that is the resonance text from the Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition book. So that is feeding. Okay, so yeah, the first person into third person and then third person back into first person after they're done. All right. So the mechanics for the blood resonance. So blood resonance is an important part of your journey when exploring the city. It feeds into how you tailor Fire's abilities to match your vampiric playstyle and fantasy. When exploring Seattle, you can find pedestrians with one of three potential blood resonances: melancholic, sanguine, and choleric. This is something only a vampire can know, so you need to use your heightened senses to identify these pedestrians. Once found, you need to turn these pedestrians fully resonated. This is done through conversations in which you'll attempt to manipulate the victim's emotions as needed. With this feature, it was important to us that the roleplay affected the outcomes of these conversations, so the way you act throughout the game determines what conversation options are available. Also, your appearance is an important factor in these conversations, so choose your wardrobe wisely. I would like to know if it's just going to be specific outfits or if it's going to be like different clothing. I still want to know if that's the case. So if you manage to turn the pedestrian, they'll become fully resonated and react accordingly. This means they might start a fight with you, run from you in terror, or even find you irresistibly attractive, all of which increase the resonant blood of that type gained from feeding on them. Whilst these are great ways to gain resonated blood, they aren't the only ways. You can find events happening around the city, highlighted on the map, where NPCs are already fully resonated, allowing players to skip the conversations and just jump straight into the feeding. Either way, you're attempting to accrue enough blood of different resonances types to ultimately increase the range of the abilities you can use. And this is where clan contacts come into the mix. Once you are Sheriff of Seattle, clan contacts such as Mrs. Thorne at the Wake the Dead Cafe will offer to aid you in restoring your connection to the abilities of their clan by drinking their blood. A prerequisite is collecting the required amounts of resonant blood for the ability you wish to relearn. Once you collected, you can drink the clan's contact's blood, adding the ability to the ability tree to unlock with ability points. I'm really looking forward to seeing your reactions to the pedestrian conversations and can't wait to see the combinations of the abilities you all put together. See you in the dark alleyways of Seattle. Which this does not look that bad. That does not look that bad. I hope it's a simple system. They don't need to go all out for it, and I just hope they don't. So the cross clan ability combos. As your key to unlocking clan abilities beyond your class base set, Blood Resonance opens up a lot of options for players who like to experiment. You'll find abilities that already befit your bloodline much easier to unlock, and generally will suit your style to play best. For instance, Abana Hakim Fire can get a hold of blood sorcery powers relatively easily, but if you're committed, all abilities can eventually be gotten a hold of. To collect the resonant blood even faster, certain abilities induce a blood resonance on their own. Brujas Taunt will fill people with rage, causing them to gain the choleric blood resonance right away. There's some really strong ability combinations available, as well as some silly ones. I'm not sure if Earth Shock is suited to a sneaky build, but it does make breaking stealth more dramatic. Mass manipulation can be used in a few more ways, and there's no shortage of things you'll want to do inside of the stop time. Personally, I like to have multiple relocate abilities unlocked so I can adapt my movement to different situations. And unlocking a clan's ability also gives you access to the clan perks, which you can stack up with others for a powerful edge as you progress through the game. You'll definitely want to collect a few of them if you're looking to reach the apex of what an elder vampire can be. Which sounds really cool. Oh, okay. So this is the full ability tree. I would like to see like all of them. I would like to see all of them, but I get what they're showing here because it's all of the clan markings. Yeah, it's all the clan markings. So it's really cool, but I wish they would show us what the disciplines we're getting are and how they'd react. At least now, if not now, a little later, that'd be great. So, following our previous post in which we explored fire's heightened senses, the next step was about how we could differentiate what we see easily to show the player what kind of prey they're dealing with. We call this part of fire senses blood resonance, where we visualize the type of person we're hunting based on the scent of blood pumping through their veins. When it came to concepting the visual style of this feature, we needed to consider a few different factors. Firstly, the level of danger a person has in a relation to fire. Are they unaware of your presence? Are they actively searching for a threat? Or are they just a bit agitated and worried after they've caught a glimpse of you in the shadows? Additionally, we wanted to visualize a way to show the types of emotions that the enemies in the public are feeling too. Are they angry, lustful, fearful? These types of blood resonances may just come in handy while exploring Seattle. For the concept itself, we felt a good direction would be color coding the types of blood resonances in the enemies and the public are experiencing. When they're ideal and unaware of us, a cool blue signifies their calm demeanor. When they're actively hostile, a vivid red shows their blood pumping. Their silhouette is almost on fire. So, as you're exploring the world, we hope this feature will be a great tool to hunt down fire's prey while keeping you safe in the underbelly of Seattle, which I hope so as well, because that's something that we just need to make sure that it's one of the few things that I'm like, that I believe should be double checked, triple checked, before game does release to make sure that something core to the game is not broken. So some kindred are picky eaters. Some of them prefer to hunt specific prey that fits their preferred tastes. And in Bloodlines 2, Fire will sometimes need to deal with the fellow night dwellers who desire certain delicious meals. Behind the scenes, we wanted to look at what it would feel like to go hunting for specific prey like this, where Seattle is populated by people who have an inclination to certain types of resonances in their blood. Maybe they are choleric, prone to anger if pushed too far. Perhaps they're merely melancholic, having a bad day and fearful of what the future holds. Or maybe they're sanguine, in the mood, ready for love. The key for us was that merely by being prone to these feelings, their blood wasn't quite ripe yet. This is where blood resonance conversations come in. Fire would need to search out these people in Seattle and give them an extra push. And not everyone will respond the same way to that type of push. What might push a lustful businesswoman to be ready for a romantic dalliance with someone who appears to have wealth won't work if you want to terrify a fearful sex worker into running for his life. So this is just the blood resonance. So yeah, this is what they said before. If this is actually how it's going to be, that's really sick. I like it. And this should be perfectly fine just because it looks like what they said before about the crowds and everything being as different as they can make it. It seems to be going true-ish. All right, so Fire will need to use all the tools at their disposal. It starts with a hunt through the city streets to find the right person, then sizing up what approach to use. If dressed like a wealthy partygoer, will this potentially fearful biker be properly terrified? And even if the right clothing is selected, what if Fire says the wrong thing? Or maybe Fire is strong enough so that they can rely on their vampiric abilities in the conversation to properly prepare the meal they crave. After all, everyone likes a bit of seasoning on their midnight snack. So, our players are knowledgeable in the lore of Vampire the Masquerade. May wonder if playing as a Ventrue Fire will be much more difficult given Ventrue Bane in the 5th edition forces them to drink only from a preferred type. Your feeding in game won't be limited at any point. The mark on your hand has affected not only your powers, but also your bane. As you find yourself slowly returning to your old self, this gives you more freedom in feeding, or for example, doesn't make you prone to raging outbursts as a Bruja. Clan-specific dialogue allows you to tap more into your clan characteristics and play more as the type that will differ from playthrough to playthrough. The Ventrue Fire will probably be feed less than others, given you heal more from a single bite, which is a part of how we translated Fortitude into the game. However, that temporary freedom is not the case for the NPCs you will meet in game. You will still find Ventrue dealing with the refined tastes, which will cause them problems. We won't spoil you more now, though. For us, this is actually going to be the place we're going to stop it. We're going to stop it right here at 20, where it's blood resonance. These three to four dev diaries have been good. A lot of information and a lot of good information. I personally enjoy seeing the dev diary saying something and then not like one or two dev diaries later. They're showing the actual thing in video form inside the dev diary, which I believe is sick. It's awesome, and it shouldn't be difficult to make it well, but also to optimize it, because if they're able to optimize it and it runs well, to me that's already a plus. Everything else is just an add-on to that main portion. It's just optimization, and then if they're able to keep their word on everything due to the optimization. Well, thank you all for joining me. I hope you have a very nice day, night, evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you may be in the world. If you like the video, like, subscribe once more, share. I hope to see you guys again soon.